Morning all, how we doing? Morning ladder, Wilson, Denver. How is everybody this morning? Got a new Prime Minister in the UK, very exciting. Not. Doesn't matter who's in charge, we're all screwed. Right, just going to start off this morning with a quick look at the news, overnight news as well, as usual. We had the Australian rates last night. Morning, Evil. As expected, Aussie's not reacted particularly well to the rates. Nothing particularly bad. We haven't had an ADR hit yet. Yeah, all a bit there off of that one. So don't think really the market was that impressed or worried. The Aussies are on top of their rates. They're forecasting inflation at, I think it's 3% next year, which is nothing compared to the rest of the world, and especially the UK. We're the worst of the lot, but I think they're looking, it's 3% when they're bringing it back down to 2%. So they're on top of it. Aussie and New Zealand are pretty much on top of it, so they don't have to go crazy with their rates. And I think the market's just like, well, they're just getting on with business. So no real reaction to the Aussie rates. This afternoon we've got PMI figures for the US, so that should be a pretty good one. We should get some decent volatility off of that. But we'll see. That's 3 o'clock, half an hour after the New York Open. Then tomorrow morning we've got the Aussie GDP, and we've got the CAD rates tomorrow. So CAD we need to be aware of, and obviously Euro this week. We've got those rates coming out. Overnight news, there's lots and lots and lots of news yesterday. It was a busy old day yesterday. So Russia has stopped supplying gas completely to Europe now. There you go. Russia stops gas supplies to Europe until Western sanctions are removed. So basically, morning beyond, they've turned off the gas supplies to Europe, which is quite a big percentage of what Europe uses. They have got big reserves, but this is a major blow, and it's going to mean they're going to have to buy in gas and potentially oil at a more expensive cost, with more logistical nightmares. There's plenty of people out there that will supply. There's other countries that can supply everything. It's just logistically more difficult and more expensive to do, and obviously it doesn't help them short term, because basically imagine someone just turning off the gas supply to your house. You need to sort it now. It's not something you can go, oh well, I'll think about that in a couple of weeks. Whatever's left in the pipeline is what's in the pipeline. That's it. If you haven't got gas storage, you're stuck. So that's quite a big problem. I was expecting a bigger reaction really off of that to oil and gas, but we didn't get a massive reaction. We got a good push, but obviously the market was shut yesterday. So today potentially we could get a big rise on the oil markets. So we'll see what happens there. But that's the big news yesterday. Liz Truss getting in is just news. OPEC have decided to reduce barrel production by 100,000 per day. So oil is being constricted. If demand stays the same, production dropping, prices go up. So everything is positive for pricing on oil and gas. So we should see rises on that. Everything basically was positive oil and gas yesterday. So it's how long the market takes to react to all of this. Doesn't help that then obviously we've had the new thing put in with the Russians turning off the gas supply. So it's very difficult to sort of pick through all the fundamental details. Normally we'd say, right, well, if they're restricting this, then that will go up, etc. But it's not that cut and dry at the moment, unfortunately. Ukraine saying that they can sort out their own gas, basically, through their own pipelines, which is fine. Not really worried about that. Increase in rates being muttered by the Bank of England, 0.75 being the minimum by the looks of things. So we should see a good rise on that next week. California's having blackouts. More gas talks in Iran. So yeah, it's busy day. And obviously then we had the rates on Australia, but Australia is on top of inflation, as I said. So that's all good. German industrial orders down dramatically as well. So economy shrinking from a manufacturing perspective in Germany. So let's go to the euro this morning. Yeah, it's all going bad, so why not pump it? Market's just off its head at the moment. Everything's going mental on the euro. Big spikes on the euro. Anyway, so we should get some ADR hits today. The market's obviously waking up today after yesterday, which was fairly quiet. So the only thing we've got to be aware of this afternoon is PMIs for the US dollar. So we should get some decent movement on the US dollar this afternoon. Yesterday I banked 0.61%. All I banked yesterday was some oil, good old oil. It's keeping me afloat at the moment, oil. If that was those two, that was it. All I banked yesterday. That one and that one. 0.61. Couldn't get anything else in the bank because nothing else really moved. I toyed with the idea of shutting out some of this US dollar Swiss. I'm glad I didn't. It's just sitting there at the minute. So, but hopefully today we'll get that pump on oil. So again, looking potentially an ADR hit up into there on oil. Made a new high. The interesting thing about oil at the moment is we're gapping every day. And we're gapping, we're pushing, pulling back, pushing, pulling back. Got a real sort of weak push going on at the moment, but these gaps are being left virtually every day and not getting filled. I'll be interested to see what they do. Because obviously I'm fairly new to trading oil. So I'm not 100% sure on gap fill strategy on it, but looking back, there's not that many gaps that get left. It's the same as sort of the indices. They don't tend to get left very often when they do appear. They get filled fairly quick. So it's slightly worrying that we've left these whacking great, and these are not just little gaps; they're big gaps in the market. So we'll see if they come back and fill those in. So that's what I managed to get yesterday. Drawdowns the same as yesterday because nothing obviously moved. On the funded account, I've just taken a short on DAX, by the way. I'm trying a little scalp. We had some really nice wicks pre-market here. So I'm just trying to scalp short on this. See if I can get a bit of, I just want to try and bank 0.5%. It's going very, very slow at the moment. Managed to bank yesterday 0.2%. I had pound New Zealand on yesterday. So I had a hedge on it yesterday because I left the EA to trade in both directions on pound New Zealand, but I didn't like it as a long, and I was building up long positions on it. So I had some profit that I could take on. I had one long position at break even, one long position at profit, and one long position in loss. So I decided to close those three out and go flat on it because I didn't like it long. And obviously this morning it's gone absolutely nuts. So, completely the wrong decision to make, unfortunately. And I had a sell on as well. So I took a small loss on that one. So I closed the whole lot out with a loss yesterday, and it's actually gone mental this morning. But I wasn't expecting that reaction on the New Zealand. I was expecting some strength on the Aussie and the New Zealand, which we didn't get. So I've managed to bank a little bit yesterday. That was it. So I've got some others that I banked yesterday, some DAX and a little bit of oil. And a Swiss yen, which I took off as well yesterday. So I kind of used some of the profits that I took off yesterday just to get myself out of that pound New Zealand hedge, because I just didn't want to be hedged. With this account, when I get to 5% on this, I'm going to want to deal with all this drawdown. And what I don't want to deal with is a hedge. Just a pain in the backside, hedges. So I'm going to, I've just made that shorts only now on the pound New Zealand, which is pushing pretty hard this morning. So that's what I managed to get yesterday on there. This morning I've taken well, I haven't taken anything yet, but I've put the EA on pound odd to get short. We've got 125 ADR on the pound odd. Pound's going pretty tonto this morning. Look at the ADR dash. So all the pounds have hit ADR. This is a reaction to the new Prime Minister and the bailout on energy, which is being promised. So there's a lot of promises coming out, as you'd expect. First day in the job, I'm going to deliver all this stuff to you. Hey, Mr. Banker, how are we going to pay for this? Not a clue. So this is basically a reaction to all the promises that we're getting at the moment, I suspect, and the possibility of a higher rate increase coming in next week. So big movements on the pound. Pound, yeah, you can see how weak the yen is today. Woohoo, nearly 175 on that. There's a hell of a fade going to happen off of that, I think. Pound New Zealand, pound US. So they're all, pound US is not so good, but all the rest of them are going pretty well. So pound odd, I've stuck the EA on. I'm going to take the next reversal alert short and get in a short position on that one. So few ADR possibilities there. Obviously with the pound, I've been looking to opportunities to get into the pound short for ages. Pound odd, the reason I've chosen this one is because we're now extended on the hourly. We will be extended. No, we now are extended on the hourly as of 2 minutes ago, officially. So we've got the hourly extension there. I'm not taking a short on the yen. I want to long everything against the yen, so I'm not taking that one, though it's more extended. So yeah, pound odd has just got extended, so that's why I've chosen that one above all the others. And also the levels. We've got a really good level of support resistance there. We've got some decent highs here as well. There's a possibility that we're doing a liquidity run on this level, and we're running into all of this chop, which is going to get us stuck. But there is also a possibility we are going to do a fairly decent run ahead of next week, in which case then we could be looking anywhere up to here. So I'll be taking my first position somewhere around here at some point, or whenever we get some weakness on this, and then I'm happy to scale into this with a short. Pound Swiss has just hit 125, so yeah, real big moves on the pound this morning. Boris Johnson's leaving the I was going to say the White House then. Morning Stevie, morning Neo. Boris Johnson's leaving number 10 this morning as we speak. So maybe this is the celebration for Boris Johnson leaving. But yeah. So yeah, some big moves going on in the pound this morning, but I like it short. So I've been looking for an opportunity to get in, and it's extended, so I'm getting in. Other extensions we'll have a look at in a second. I just wanted to quickly go over, I've had quite a few people contacting me, and I get lots of DMs obviously, but the DMs at the moment are all about prop firms. And mainly the question is about the EA, and it's probably because I'm running this, running the EA on this My Forex Funds evaluation, which is why I get the questions. Why have I got a loss today? The DAX has just stopped out. There we go. Woohoo! Hello, DAX. Blimey. That's a big move. That might be a good fade opportunity up at these highs. Might keep an eye on that one. Really going for it out the gates this morning. Markets across the board very bullish this morning. Interesting. Okay, keep an eye on that. Yeah, so a lot of people contacted me about prop firms and the EA. and just generally trading prop firms. And kind of what I said yesterday, I think sparked a couple of the DMs I got. Somebody was asking basically, which prop firms to use, and can the EA pass the challenge? And this is the question I get asked all the time. And it's the $1 million question. How do you pass a challenge in evaluation? And my answer is always going to be the same. And I've got my spreadsheet to explain it a little better. So when you're taking a prop evaluation, and we will do some analysis in a minute. Morning, Andy. You have to understand that the odds are always going to be against you, and it is completely random as to whether you pass or fail. I've failed lots of evaluations and I've passed lots of evaluations, and it's nothing to do with my skill as a trader or anything else, but what the market conditions are at the time I take that evaluation. So if I've put a little like 50k evaluation up here, and I'm basically, what I'm assuming here is we've got a 50k account, we're going to risk 1% per trade, we're going to use a stop loss, and we're going to take 2 trades a day. You've got 30 days to pass evaluation, right? So I'm going to take 2 trades a day, and I'm going to be risking $500 on each trade. So this spreadsheet here, which is what you can download this spreadsheet from the website, which is just there. Yeah, it's under indicators, risk reward calculator spreadsheet. That's the one I'm using. You can see what you've got to do basically. So if the target is 8k, in this case, I've got to do 8% on my evaluation. I need to either have a 52% strike rate with a 1.5 risk reward, or I need to have around about a 45% strike rate with a 1.8 to 1 risk reward, or if I go with a 1-to-1 risk reward, I've got to have a 63% strike rate to make my 8k. So this tells you basically what your strike rate needs to be. And of course the problem with this is not in your control. The strike rate is something you cannot control. The risk reward ratio basically, and the strike rate. These are the things that are out of your control, because whether or not something hits your risk reward is going to be based on whether or not the market has enough power to get to the level that you've set on that particular day, and whether or not that is realistic. Whether or not it does it 63% of the time over that period of 30 days that you're trading, again, it's completely random. There's no idea. Yeah. And this is what the prop firms know, that no matter how good your planning is, if you say you're going to get into these trades with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, which is really, really easy, and you've got an excellent strategy that has got a 65 to 70% strike rate in back testing, that's got nothing to do with whether or not you're going to pass an evaluation. Because if you've got, for example, a 65% strike rate, and we come over onto this second sheet here, it's going to depend on the order those trades come in, isn't it? So let's say we've got our 65% strike rate. Actually, was that sorry, can't change that. So so 65% strike rate, let's say we're taking 30 trades, we need to have 19, 20 winners, let's say, yeah, out of our 30 trades, risking 1% with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So that's what we've got to achieve to hit our target. Now, whether or not you hit your target is going to depend on this column here, and this is the bit that determines whether or not you pass or you fail an evaluation. Yeah, if this turns out to be like that, yeah, the first 11 trades happen to be losers, you're going to fail your evaluation. Yeah. If you have a couple of winners in there, you're still going to fail your evaluation. Yeah. So no matter what your strike rate is, it all depends on the order of the wins and losses. This is completely random and determined by the market. If I've got a 90% strike rate system, I can still have 10 losing trades in a row out of 100. And if those 10 losing trades in a row come at the front end of my evaluation, I'm not going to pass. Yeah. So I just wanted to point this out, and hopefully this explains it better for the people that are DMing me asking whether or not the EA can pass the evaluation. This is not my EA. This is any EA in the world that you purchase or you create yourself. Whether or not it's got a strike rate of 10%, 90%, 50%, or whatever it is, it's not guaranteed to pass any evaluation, because it's going to depend on what the market conditions are that week you start that evaluation. If you enter the market with an EA with a 50% strike rate, and it takes a trade on every instrument that's got a fundamental interest rate release coming out like we have this week, and it gets those entries in the wrong direction, you're going to lose every single one of them. Next week, it will have passed. Yeah. So hopefully that explains it, because that's the best way I can see to explain how these prop firms are working and why they have this 5% loss daily rate in there, and the 10% overall loss, and the 30-day limit on the evaluations. It's all put there because they know, like a casino, the odds of passing are completely random and based on whether or not you're lucky enough to get something like that happen in week one. Yeah, if you go win, loss, win, loss, loss, win, loss, win, 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 loss, win, loss, win, da, da, da. By the time you get to 16 trades, you've done 10 grand in profit. You've hit your target. Yeah, stick a couple of extra losers in there. All of a sudden, you're not hitting. Yeah, it's that simple. Yeah, so it's completely random. And that brings me on to the next point. People that have DM'd me saying that they've got some company to pass their evaluation for them using an EA. That company that you've paid $1,000 to, which is what these typically cost, $500 to $1,000 to get an EA that will pass an evaluation, they know this math as well. So what they're doing is they're making money out of selling you this. And yes, it will pass evaluation at some point. Might not be the first time, might be the second time. But now what you've got to bear in mind is you have now got to trade for between 2 to 4 weeks before you will get paid by that prop firm. Yeah. So if you've gone through something like 2 to 4 weeks to pass an evaluation, well done. You've now got to repeat that process before you can get any money out. That has also got to happen on the live account. So you've got to pass phase 1 with a lucky couple of weeks. You've got to pass phase 2 with a lucky couple of weeks. You've got to pass a couple of weeks on your funded account without having a bad run. Yeah, that all makes sense. I might crop this little bit out and put it in the group, because this answers the question, how do you pass a prop firm evaluation? By flipping a coin and having a lucky streak. Literally, that is it. Because as I said yesterday, and I've said many times before, there is no trader in the universe that does not have a 10% drawdown on their account at some point. It will happen. And with prop firms, that is your account gone. So you've got that is literally it. That's the game. Yeah. And this is why I keep saying about with the prop firms, do multiple evaluations. You're going to have to. As long as you spend 2K on evaluations and have that lucky streak with 1 or 2 of your accounts, which makes you, you build that account up to 5 to 10K, which is where mine is sitting at the moment, my MFF account. I'm not touching it. I'm leaving it there till payday, which is this week. And I'll draw that out. Yeah, and then I'll start again and hope when I'm scalping, I don't have a losing run. And then I'll build it back up to that again until I blow it. And when I blow it, I'll start again. Because I can't control that. No one can. Make sense? So don't get this spreadsheet if you want to do some calculations. It's really useful for working out, especially risk reward. To get a successful strategy, you don't need these big, everyone's going for these big 5 to 1, 10 to 1s. You don't need that. Yeah. A 1.5 to 1 risk reward ratio with a 50% strike rate is enough to pass an evaluation. You just got to hope you don't get X number in the row go against you. Yeah. So go and get the spreadsheet, have a play. But yeah, that's the mechanics behind prop firms and evaluations. Yeah. And you know, in this one that I've got going at the moment, you know, I've got to get to 5% there, and I've got to hope basically that the market is kind and oil does go up, and US dollar Swiss does come down, US dollar CAD comes down. I've got to hope the DAX starts to drop, and also the pound and the euro have a weak for the next 3 to 5 days. If all of that happens in the next 3 to 5 days, I'm going to put about 3% over there and pass the evaluation. If for any reason whatsoever Russia decides to open up its pipelines and agree to a cap, oil's going to tank. I'm probably going to blow it. I have no control over that. I have absolutely no control over what the market's going to do. I've just got to get into positions and hope that over the next X number of days until I've put 5% in there, the market's kind. And that's it. This is as simple as it gets. There is no magic system, strategy, or EA that is going to be able to guarantee you anything. Yeah. So there you go. Answered in full, in detail. I will crop that out, and that answers everybody's questions. So, can my EA pass evaluation? Yes. And no. Don't know. Pick a week. There you go. Right. So I just wanted to cover that, because obviously it's something I get asked a lot. I thought I'd do a video on it. To be fair, I do feel the rules for challenges have made me a better trader. Definitely taught me to risk less per trade and stay in the game. Yeah, exactly. And that, Wilson, is another one of the things that the prop firms have taken into account. It does make you a better trader. And like you said, it makes you risk less. So what people are going, well, what I'll do is I'll risk, instead of risking 1%, I'll risk 0.5%. Or I will risk 0.25% and that's absolutely fine, and that's great. Risk management is low, but look at what you've now got to achieve to hit your target. You need to have a 60% strike rate with a 5 to 1 risk reward ratio. It's no, let's take 60 trades. Actually, that's not right, is it? There we go, 60 trades. So you've now got to have, you can't do it on a 1.5 to 1, but you need a 1.8 to 1 minimum risk reward ratio with a 75% strike rate now. Or you need to go up to something like a 3 to 1 risk reward with a 50% strike rate. Yeah. Dropping that down makes life harder. And it's going to take a lot longer, potentially. And what do they have? A 30-day rule. You've got to pass within 30 days. Most of them. Some of them don't have a cap, and they're fine. But what you'll find, the ones with the cap, without the cap of 30 days, will have different rules which make other parts more difficult. Yeah, there is no one prop firm out there that has the ultimate set of rules. The ultimate set of rules for me, if I was going to start a prop firm up, I would, and this wouldn't work because I'd have too many people passing evaluations and then going crazy and losing my investors' money. But there would be no time limit on the evaluation. I would have a 10% max drawdown on the account. Yeah. I'd have no daily drawdown limit. Yeah. Just so I'll give me maximum 10%. And I'll trade within that 10% and I'll get a return for you. I can do that. I'm pretty sure I could do that virtually every month. No drawdown on a daily basis and no lot size limitations. Yeah, that's the ultimate prop firm. Doesn't exist out there at the moment. Because you've got to have something to trip people up and get the money out of them, haven't you? But yeah, reducing your risk is going to mean that you will stay within your max loss, but it will also make it a lot harder and take a lot longer to achieve your target. So what you're actually better off doing, in my opinion, is something like that and something like that. Take one trade a day, yeah, with a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, and hope that you get a winning streak. Yeah, so trade big and trade fast. So trade 2% with 1.2 risk reward. Yeah. And you just got to hope, basically. Watch this line here, yeah. Let's say you had a win, loss, win, 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 win. Yeah. So you had a lucky streak where you had a streak of winners. Yeah, you've passed. You've passed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trade 6, you've passed. Job done. Yeah, take one trade a day. You've got 5-day minimum with most of the prop firms. So pass on day 6. Go big, go hard. Worst case scenario is you'll lose for 3 days and win for 3 days, and you'll still have a kind of back to square one thing. Yeah, 50% strike rate, which isn't particularly difficult to achieve. You know, you'll be back to square one, won't you? This is obviously, I'm assuming everybody's using a stop loss. Yeah, obviously the way I trade, I don't, you know, it's totally different. So, you know, that's what you've got to do. Hated the way Apex counted a retracement as drawdown on a winning trade. Yeah, I lost my Apex account. Again, I got caught out in that exact rule. Apex at the moment, by the way, if you're interested, have got a offer on 80% off. If you want to get funded on futures, go to Apex. I'll change that. If you put in Apex 80, you get 80% off until Sunday, if you want to go and get a futures account. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, I've lost my account because I got caught out on the drawdown. Not the first time, it won't be the last. And the problem with Apex is you can only get £1,000 out of them in the first month. You have to wait 3 months until you get a full payout. I've made it to that 3 months once and got a lovely payout. But again, you've got to stop trading the account. Build it up to a level where you're happy and then stop trading it for a bit. It's the only way to make money out of props, unfortunately, but that's the rule. Anyway, so there you go. So that hopefully that's explained it in detail, and everybody now understands how to make money out of prop firms, basically. And it's you know, it is luck. You still need a bankroll. Yeah, if I'm lucky enough to have a big bankroll. If you have only got a bankroll of 5k, the best way to use that 5k, in my opinion, is to spend $300 on evaluations times 3. Yeah, trade 3 separate accounts with 3 separate strategies and hope one of them passes. Yeah, so spend $1,000 of your 5k getting yourself a 50k bankroll, and then hope you get a decent run on that live account where you can make 5k. Take it out. Done. That's the way to do it. Wilson, US dollar yen 150. Yeah, so let's have a look at the markets. I've covered all that. So we've got a particularly weak yen this morning. All yens going completely crazy at the moment. Biden administration releases plan for 50 billion investment in chips. Okay. So that's to do with the US stopping buying chips from China, basically. Okay, so there's no news overnight causing this yen, is there? So this is, here we go. It's not desirable for FX to move rapidly. Oh, hang on. It is desirable for FX to move stably. Yeah. exiting from fuel subsidies, decide whether to extend fuel to oil producing countries to increase output. That's not going to happen to me. Okay, so doesn't look like it's a reaction to that, but anyway, doesn't matter why it's moving. So we've got a weak yen. As you know, I'm long everything yen. I just haven't had a chance to get into anything yen at the moment. So all these moves are going in the direction I would expect them to go without me. I'm not on board. Yeah. If you want to mean revert them, you can try. I'd much rather be long on the yen than short on it. So from a mean reversion perspective, they are fairly risky. But up to you. If you're using a stop on them, you've got some very nice extensions, pound yen specifically. We're nearly at 200% ADR on the pound yen. So if you want to mean revert pound yen, that's probably the best one to do it on. The more extended you get, obviously, the chances of the extension continuing drop. So we're nearly up at 97% chance that this will either accumulate or pull back at some point. Yeah, 97% chance. There's always that 3%, but we're, pound yen, we are up at that maximum extreme right now. CAD yen, same sort of thing. 150. But bear in mind, this is all the yen. This is the yen weakness. So this is money coming out of the yen and going elsewhere. Moment looks like it's going into the pound. Yeah, be aware of these. Obviously, for mean reversion opportunities today. Euro yen. So the pound odd is the one that I'm getting on board. I'm just about to get into this one short on this reversal alert. Pound Swiss is another good one. So Swissy I like long. But the Swissy will get impacted on Thursday by the euro rate announcement. So the Swissy will start to move on the euros. So if this comes out anything positive above 1.25, we'll get a pump on the Swissy as well. So that will drop pound Swissy. And obviously that one we've been waiting for a pullback opportunity. US dollar yen 125. So we've been waiting for a pullback opportunity. So any of these pounds really you can get in short. At the moment I'm only getting single exposure on things. I'm just keeping my exposure tight. So I'll only take £1 short at the moment. I'm just trying to keep it a little bit tight and light at the minute. But pound Swiss, good opportunity for short. Pound yen obviously is massively extended, so we've got a good ADR reversal there. So drop down to M5, entry, 40 pip stop. You've got a target possibly of 100 pip drop down to support. There's a potential support there as well, but there's lots of propulsion gaps to aim for all the way back down to 180 pips, back down to 162 level down here, which is where we opened today. So you can easily get an A-shaped recovery on these moves. If this is a false move, you get an A-shaped recovery, and they will just stop out everybody. Pound New Zealand as well. So pound New Zealand is a good opportunity. I prefer the pound odd because we've just had the Australian rate released. So I like the idea of that one going long. The Aussie rather powering up a little bit. But pound New Zealand obviously is also a good opportunity for short. New Zealand dollar yen. New Zealand dollar CAD's just hit as well. Loads and loads and loads of movement going on this morning. Looks like a strong Canadian dollar. Yeah, got a strong Canadian dollar, New Zealand dollar CAD coming down. Aussie's coming down quite hard by those things at the minute. No, it's not. Oh, that's against the yen. Hang on. It's the US and it's Swiss. Yeah, no, it's not that. Canadian dollar strength. So, yeah, big moves across the board. Lots of ADR opportunities today. So obviously with ADRs, I'm always looking to take them in line with trend if possible. So, things like the Aussie dollar yen hitting ADR high, I'm looking to go long. So I wouldn't necessarily want to mean revert it. With these ADRs, there is always a high probability of a pullback from these moves, because to create these moves, there's a lot of buying and there's a lot of people getting into profit very quickly. Therefore, they want to jump ship very quickly. So a quick in and out type trade. This is why we get the mean reversions and the pullbacks. But the pullbacks quite often will only be to a support level. So you don't want to get greedy on them, which is why I look for sort of a quarter to a half an ADR profit. So if you're up there at the moment, you're not going to get a reversal on that one. That's miles away. Pound yen, you will. So half an ADR is 58, quarter of an ADR is 29. So, 50 odd is down into this accumulation here, which is potentially going to act as a support. Or you've got a much bigger drop down to there. So good half an ADR you should be able to get on a pullback. One of two things is happening here with these ADR hits. It's either a manipulation before a reversal starts, or it's a move which is starting, which will have a pullback and a push. Yeah, either way, when you're up to sort of 150 ADR, if it's a pullback, no problem. You get half an ADR out of it. If it's a reversal, no problem, because it will just keep coming down. So good opportunities on ADRs today. Nothing's hit the weekly yet. On the RSIs, we've got quite a few opportunities as well. CAD yen, very extended now. CAD yen on the hourly. We're up to the, we're just about to get an extension alert on the 80 level on CAD yen. We're up to 150 ADR. Obviously, I'm long CAD yen from a bias perspective. We are just taking out a high as well there. Look. So half an ADR is 40 pips. We're pretty much there. So if this is going to be a liquidity run, that's kind of where I'd expect it to pull back below that high and then start to pull back down. So if it's not, obviously we could use that as support and go. Either way, you've got half an ADR there available to you. So CAD yen, potentially you could take a short on. I'd much rather be longing that one. Swiss yen, very extended as well. These are extended on the 4 hourly and the hourly. So the hourly, we're up to that extension again. Look at last time we hit, pull back, pull back, pull back. Yeah, and this is the difference. Yeah, these are just pullback longs, pullback long, pullback long, pullback long, rather than a reversal. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's what we're taking our money on, that move. So that's what you should be looking at. You should be looking at, the likelihood is that you're not going to get more than 200 pip move to the downside. Pretty much every time, 2 ADR to the downside. But this is the first time we have actually broken resistance. So there is a high probability that resistance will become support. So in this particular case, wherever we stop, you're looking probably somewhere around 150 pips to the downside. So Swiss yen, again, Swiss is a long. Obviously, yen is a short, which is why we're getting these moves to the upside. Just wish we'd have got some pullbacks on these. I've been waiting for some kind of pullback into the 24.72 area to get long on some yen. Just haven't had it. Should have taken these, but just didn't get the extensions, unfortunately, to get me in. But yeah, Swiss yen, CAD yen, longs, Euro yen, hourly extension. Again, all extended on the hourly. Look at the yen. Look at the Euro yen. Yeah, that's all you're getting. That was a bit of a longer one, but so don't be surprised if that's all you get. Don't forget we've got the rates coming out on Thursday, which could well skyrocket the euro. We don't know yet. Pound odd. That's the one I'm interested in. So just about to get into that one. We're getting an alert. Extended on the hourly now. 4 hourly, we're not there yet, but we're getting close. So if we get extended on the 4 hourly, we'll be up somewhere around there, which will be in the 24.72 zone, and I'll be looking for that drop. So I'm going to start to get into a position at ADR, assuming we're just having a little bit of a shallow pullback on this, and then we're going to drop from there, but I don't know whether we will or not. Pound odd, so going short on that one. Pound yen, again, 200% ADR, first 200%. Off the charts, we've got a strong pound this morning. When is that? August. So there's your high, your monthly high, which we're just taking out now. So that's the August high. If we push higher, we've got the high from July up here. So you're looking at around about 200 pips, a 2 ADR move to the upside. So this, you can see we've had what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles straight up now on pound yen. So we've got a strong pound and a weak yen. And as you saw on the currency meter there, yeah, the pound is the strongest currency at the moment. The yen is the weakest. Hence, pound yen has moved the furthest. It's not rocket science, it's just the way the world works. So yeah, that's why we've got that extension, because you've got the strongest currency and the weakest currency. That cross is always going to move faster than anything else. So they've just taken out the liquidity there. So anybody that's shorted in August and has a stop in the market is sitting there. So your longer term players, 4 hours, dailies, they're all short and they're all sitting with their liquidity up there, or they were rather. They're not anymore. It's gone. So if this is going to be a fake move and we're just going to pull back in this huge range that we're in at the moment, we could just pull back from here, as we've done a few times before, or we're going to push up and challenge some of these highs up here. So up to you, but the pound yen is very, 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 very range bound compared to all the other yen pairs out there. Everything else is, apart from the euro, obviously, because the euro's been trashed, but everything else is trending against the yen, apart from the pound and the euro. So when they turn the tap off on the pound, there's likelihood we'll get some strength coming through on the euro as people are profit taking on these yen moves, and then you'll get this come down fairly hard. So French construction. Andy, UK will continue to need to import energy and goods, so without a reversal in import prices, we can't expect to see a slowdown in GDP depreciation. No. GDP, yeah, I mean, we are, the pound, the UK, unfortunately, is the furthest behind inflation. We are getting hit by everything harder than everybody else. There was a Panorama documentary last night on TV about the profits being made by the oil and gas companies has gone up 5-fold in the last 2 years. So it doesn't matter if we do a windfall tax on them or what we do to them to try and help. All it's going to do is help people pay their bills. It's not going to switch the economy round at all. The economy is still stuffed. Our inflation is going absolutely crazy. It's forecast to double over the next year to 2 years. And our interest rates aren't going up fast enough. So at the end of the day, the pound is still coming down. With this particular pair, it's going to be dependent on what happens with the yen, because yes, a weak pound will obviously come down. If you have a weak yen as well, what will happen is you'll just get a bounce around, and which is why we see all of this crap happening. The whole of August went sideways because there was no strength in the pound, there was no strength in the yen, so all you get is a little bit of push and pull from both. This move is, I'm expecting, off the back of Liz Truss getting in. What's she got to do with anything? Yeah. She doesn't work for the Bank of England. She doesn't dictate monetary policy. She's not in control of inflation. She's not going to do anything. The market's just being stupid, basically, as far as I'm concerned with the pound. Doesn't matter who's in charge. They're not the one making the decisions. There's a lot of people sitting there behind them telling them what to do, because Liz Truss is not head of the Bank of England and not an expert in inflation and interest rates. She's got someone telling her what to do about that. Why you have a government. So not quite sure what this reaction on the pound is all about, but anyway. So pound yen. From an ADR reversal perspective, that looks like a good opportunity. Obviously, it's very extended on the hourly. You will get a 4-hour extension on that, alerting in a minute as well. Well, not in a minute, in an hour and a half. So 4-hour, it's going to also be extended. That's the first extension we've had on that. Yeah, for over a month. So big moves. I can't see anything fundamental about it. So to me, it just looks like manipulation, which will get pulled back. And we got US dollar yen. That's the other thing that's obviously extended. So 4 hour, we were extended and embedded on the 4 hour. We went through this one yesterday. We've had divergence, which failed. We've had divergence, which is failed again. Right now, we've potentially got divergence, which is potentially going to fail. You know, the US dollar is not the strongest thing in the world out there at the moment, but it is a hell of a lot stronger than the yen, as we know. So again, anything you take mean reversion, and Diamond will probably attest to this, as he's done this many times, as have I. When you take an ADR reversal, one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to work and you're going to get out, or it's not. It's going to go into an accumulation. Yeah, the ADR indicator is telling you a market condition. It's telling you that the market has extended 150% of its normal range for the day. That does not mean it's going to come collapsing back down again. It means it's extended more than its normal range, and one or two things is going to happen. It's either going to go into an accumulation and potentially push or drop, or it's going to have an A-shaped recovery or pullback. We don't know which of those is going to happen. So you have a 33% chance of one of those three things happening. Two of those are in your favor. So you have a 66% chance of a trade from ADR working. And you also know the chances of it going any further as well. So the higher it gets extended, they are high probability trades, but they're not guaranteed that they're going to work, obviously, as everything is. You know, nothing's guaranteed, is it? So, you know, there's one of three things is going to happen there. We don't know, but two of them are going to make us money and one of them isn't. So when you get into an ADR reversal, you need to also think, right, if this doesn't work, that doesn't happen, which is what I'm thinking now. I'm getting on the next reverse alert. If it doesn't come down today to somewhere like that and I take this off, what's going to happen? Okay, so that's my planning here. I'm looking now, where we're going. So there's no real obvious support and resistance in here. There's loads and loads and loads and loads of support and resistance levels in here. Could go anywhere, could turn at any of those points. So basically, haven't got a clue. There's nothing obvious. So I would rely in that case on assuming we're going to continue in the current market direction. Typically, we will get somewhere between a 50 to a 72% pullback before a new leg starts. So if this trade here doesn't work, I need to plan where I'm going to be getting in and how many positions I'm likely to have. So maybe 4 positions I'll be on by the time we get up to there. And then I'm just looking for that ADR drop at some point to get out of the position. Yeah. So if an ADR doesn't work, because they are scalp plays, you need to turn them into positions. So you need to plan your position moving forward. So whenever I see an ADR alert, I go to H4 and think, is it in the right way? Yes, we have hit ADR high in a downtrend. So the chances are this is a pullback drop. Good one, I'll take that. US dollar yen is an ADR hit to the upside in an uptrend. Yeah, that's where I was expecting it to go. Do I want to mean revert it? No, because it's possibly just going to do that and continue on its way, because I'm expecting it to go long, because that's what it's been doing for the last X number of months. But you know, all trends come to an end at some point, and typically what you find is when a trend is coming to an end, it will have a rally and then a drop. Yeah, so every time you see a trend pushing hard, that could be the final one. No one knows. And again, going back to what we were talking about earlier in a prop firm, if you just took ADR reversals to try and pass a prop evaluation, you've got a 66% chance on every one of them that you're going to get a good quarter to a half an ADR drop out of them. But it all depends whether or not you take the ones in line with trend, whether or not you're awake at that time, whether you see it, whether you've got enough liquidity in your account to take it. There's so many variables that create that win-loss row in your P&L. You know, and there's too many variables. I haven't got a clue whether this is the final hurrah and the yen is going to go crazy next week because Kuroda's going to come out and have some amazing new bond purchasing system where he's going to make a load of money, or they suddenly discovered a load of oil that they can sell and gas that they can sell somewhere. No idea. I just have to get in, hold on tight, and hope that one of those happens. Yeah. So, yeah, as with everything in any strategy, you need to have a backup plan. So if you're position trading ADR, by all means, get into this pound yen. Yeah, this is massively extended. We're going to get a 225 on this. We don't see 225s often. Just looking for something that's driving this, apart from Liz Truss getting in. It's nuts. Either Japan's exploded and it hasn't hit the news yet, or Liz Truss has got some magic plan that somebody knows about in the Bank of England, but no one else has been told. Because this is a complete overreaction to a new Prime Minister, if that's what this is. In which case, then, I suspect that entire lot will just get brought back again today. So, but if it doesn't, where are you going to go with it? Yeah. You're extended on the 4 hour. Excellent. You've got a negative bias-ish. Excellent. We haven't really. I mean, it's the yen, but it's a mixed bias, isn't it? So, you know, expect if this is going to go this, you're not going to be able to get any kind of pullback with momentum until these limit orders here get hit and the banks step in with the limit orders. So plan to get in with one. How far is it? 184. So it's one and a half ADR. So plan to get in with maybe 4 positions. If it doesn't work, yeah, this is only your backup plan. Likelihood is it's going to play out. Yeah, there you go. So there's lots of opportunities today. Lots, especially on these pounds. I'm curious to know why this is going so hard. I should be keeping my eyes peeled on the news. I know that she's announced a 100 and something billion plan to combat 130 billion to combat energy bills, but that doesn't affect necessarily inflation or anything else. It affects us in the fact that, yeah, if she gives us a load of money and freezes the bills, it means that we're not going to go more into poverty, but that doesn't mean necessarily that we can afford more, because inflation's still going through the roof. Cost of living is still going through the roof. So it will have an impact on inflation, but it's not going to power the pound up that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So lots of ADR opportunities there. So keep your eyes peeled. The yens I'd be less interested in. The euro New Zealand looks like a good one to me. Like that. I'm in short on the euro New Zealand already, so I'll be taking another position on that one in a second. How long we got? 1 minute. See if I get that. So yeah, euro New Zealand like short. All the pounds are like short. And New Zealand are CAD. Depends what happens with the CAD. There's a strong CAD at the moment. I suspect off of what we're expecting to happen with oil today. So oil is pushing ever so slightly at the moment, not massively. See if we get this euro New Zealand short in. Nearly there. Is there any other pairs anybody wants to look at? I'm not going to go through everything in detail again today, because I did that yesterday. I'll have another look at the markets in detail tomorrow and see if there's any more opportunities. But with the movements today, there's plenty of things you can get into today. Lots of RSI extensions are going to get lit up today. There we go. So another short on the euro New Zealand. Let's see if the pound odd got triggered. Nope. So still rejecting the pound odds, support rectangles holding at the moment on that one. US dollar CAD's coming down off the back of the US dollar. Let's just see what DAX is doing. Ah, missed it. So nice sell-off on US dollar CAD starting. I might try a couple more scalps this morning on the DAX, try and get that back. There was only one position, it's only a quarter of a percent. Difficult to know. I haven't covered the indices. Let me just cover the indices quickly. And oil. So oil we know about. Oil, obviously, after the news yesterday, we're expecting some strength on oil. We came down, we've double bottomed. Limit orders have triggered. We are moving up. Indices wise, we had a bullish engulfing yesterday on the DAX. The US indices obviously didn't do anything because the markets were shut. So I suspect what we're seeing today is more bullish moves coming in based on what's happened with the DAX. So any stocks and sectors that have been bought up from the DAX will be bought up today on these two, because obviously the markets were shut yesterday, so they couldn't trade them. So we're seeing this push on the DAX. Doesn't mean necessarily it's going to be a long. I still like a short on this. Still making nice new lows. So pull back anywhere up to that high, really. Yeah, this area here is kind of where I would be looking on the DAX. For opportunities. So it's that low there, that high is within it. So looking at the lower time frame on that. Somewhere up at ADR, if it was to get anywhere near there, I don't think it will. It's coming down quite nicely at the moment. But I missed it. Nice big bearish engulfing up there. So yeah, I might try and trade a little bit more, try and get some more in the bank on that. I just want to try and get this target, get closer to this this 2%, this 5% basically, just so that I can then start whittling these down and working on these to get them out of drawdown and just get this one past. But it's very slow at the moment, slow moving. Right, has anybody got anything they want to look at? Anything else? Just watching this area for any bullish signs. I might look at taking a long down here. No, nobody got anything else I want to look at? Okay. So when this video is rendered, I will cut that bit out that I was talking about with prop firms, and I'll pop that in the Telegram group. Kind of as a Q&A and a guide to passing prop firms, just so that everybody's got understands what needs to be done with them, really. That's my experience anyway with them. So, you know, other people may do things different, but no requests, just playing the ADR reversal scalps this morning. Yeah, plenty of them. Pound yen's about to reverse. We just got an ADR reversal alert going off on that. Fancy a scalp on that. It's a big risk reward on that. These are the sorts of things, you know, this is what you need to be waiting for. These super high probability setups. You know, take less of them, but take them with a massive risk, 2% risk. Yeah, if you took a 2% short on this, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to do it with a 2%. But that is a decent probability trade, that. So down to there, potentially, is where I would see us finding a little bit of support. So there's the Asian high, if you like, before the breakout started. Failing that, this accumulation here should at least get down to there and test this area, because this is where we pushed. Yeah, you can see by the propulsion gaps where we pushed. Yeah, we pushed up into there, we accumulated, and then we pushed out of there. So this is why you've got these propulsion gaps. Yeah. So these are the breakout candles. So that's where the market started longing it. When we return to there, if they want to go long still, this is where they're going to defend that area and put their limits to scale back in. So we should come and test this area. You know, and as from a risk reward perspective, that's 31 to 58 to 60. So it's pretty much a 2 to 1. Yeah. I'm risking 0.5% on this to make 1%. I've only got to make 5% on the account. And this is what I mean by going in big with super high probability trades where you've got like 60, 70% chance of them working. They may not come along every day or very often, but when they do come along, this to me is the easiest way to pass evaluations. Going big and going hard and going less often. So pound yen just about to get the alert. We've got 3 minutes left on this candle though. So, you know, this is not hit. This hasn't happened yet. All that's happening at the moment is we're pushing down and making a new low. Where this candle closes, your guess is as good as mine. We haven't had it yet. So probably going to try 1% risk. Yeah, go for the first target. Don't get greedy. No, look at the spreadsheet. We were to risk 1% and take one trade a day with a 2 to 1 risk reward. We only need 50% to hit target. 51% probably between those two, isn't it? Yeah. So you've only got to take, you know, if you took ADRs, yeah, ADRs have got a 66% chance of pulling back. Yeah. If you got a 2 to 1 risk reward on ADR reversals with a 66% strike rate, you're going to hit. But how many of those ADR reversals are going to fail? And how many? And this is the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah. A 66% strike rate, losing 6 trades in a row before you get a winner, is still a 66% strike rate. Yeah. It just so happens that you lost a load of money along the way. Nothing you can do about it, is there? That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the bit we can't control. We don't know which ADR reversals are going to work. We know they work, we just don't know which ones. You know, and it's the ones you don't take as well. You know, you got, this is the other thing. You got the ADR dash lit up like a Christmas tree today. Yeah, some of these are going to, I can tell you now, some of these are going to accumulate today. Some of these are going to pull back and push today. Some of these are going to do an A-shaped recovery today. I couldn't tell you which. Now, we could all take different ADR reversals today. Some of us could make 5% profit. Some of us could lose 5% profit. It's total game of chance and probability. Just playing the odds. GA is about to trigger, is it? So pound yen, you've got the reversal alert. We've got the RSI alerts all just got off as well. So yeah, we're well extended. So we're 82 now on 80s on pound yen, Swiss yen, and the CAD yen. So expect this to pull back and retest now to get that in pattern. I'd much rather it just tanked, but be prepared. US dollar yen got extensions, so the pound New Zealand's extended, pound odd is extended, and euro yen. So it's all yen based. Pound odd, I'm in shorts. First short on pound odd. We just need something Liz Truss to say something really, really, really stupid this morning. That'd be fantastic. And the whole market tanked. Oh, you know, I said I was going to bail everybody out. Turns out we haven't got enough cash to do that. So we're not doing it anymore. There we go. Who knows? That's unlikely to happen. If they don't bail us out, we're all stuffed. We'll see. See what happens. I'm going to go for the home run. What I'm going to do with this myself is I'm going for that. When we get down to here, I'm going to put the break-even stop on and hope. Oh, there you go. There's some news just coming from Liz Truss. Good timing, Liz. Just talking about you. 40 billion energy aid package for UK businesses. Okay, so she's bailing out businesses as well. That's good. Russia buys millions of artillery shells and missiles from North Korea. Oh my God. That's the last thing you want, isn't it? He must be desperate if he's buying from North Korea. I can't imagine they're the best quality missiles in the world, can you? Don't they just shoot missiles all over the place and blow each other up all the time because they're absolutely terrible? Or is that just their nuclear stuff? Half those artillery shells won't go off. Half of them will go off in a completely wrong direction and kill all their own troops. Probably doing Ukraine a favour, to be honest. Pound odds coming down nice and hard. Pound yen's moving nicely as well. So 0.27 I've got to make up today. We'll see what happens with those. I'll update these in the Telegram group. Pound odd is a position trade anyway. So this is an ADR reversal, but it is actually a position trade. But saying that, if we get down... I mean, I will probably take that off somewhere around there. So that for me is roughly 0.5%, just under, about 0.4%. So if this gets down to there, I'll take it off today. If not, I'll be turning this one into a position anyway. So I'll be looking to scale in on the drop, on the pullback. But yeah, this looks like a market overreaction at the minute, but we'll see. If she keeps coming out saying things like this, we may well see the pound rally all day today. In which case we could have some 300% ADRs. We don't. It's very rare that we get. You know, this is why I only go up to 225 on the dash and on the indicator. The odds of going above 225 are 2%. Yeah, it does. It very rarely happens. When it does, it doesn't matter how far it goes above. It's just off the chart. There's something has happened that's caused it. So you know, if you get in above 225, you want to be looking the other way, definitely, because you know it's coming down at some point. Everybody's going to need to get out of those positions. One would hope Korea's nuclear gear was a bit more accurate than their normal ordnance. Yeah. Let's just hope they don't supply any nukes to Russia. They don't need to nuke. Russia's got more nukes than everybody. It's interesting though that they're running out. They need to go and buy from other people. It's obviously going hideously badly for Russia, isn't it? So Wilson, I'm now halfway to target on my challenge. Nice one. What, on that pound yen? Can't be on that pound yen. Must be on other stuff as well. But yeah, we'll see. This is, I mean, obviously this is highly likely to come up and take me out. That's what happens with stops, isn't it? That's why we put them there, so the market can come and grab them before it goes our way. If it does, though, I will scale in. Yeah, and that's the beauty of the reversal alert indicator. Yeah, and again, you know, people constantly. I mean, the reviews I get on MQL5, all the negative reviews are this is a repainting indicator. Yes, it is repainting. It's painting market structure. Market structure changes. If you don't understand market structure, I can understand you thinking it's a repainting indicator. That's not the case. What it's doing is it's painting market structure, and the peak formations of market structure tend to be M patterns. So if this first reversal alert doesn't work, i.e. we have a higher high put in, we will get another reversal alert, which is likely to work because that will be the second leg of the M. So this is either an M pattern reversal or it's an M pattern reversal. I don't know which it's going to be. The indicator's saying this could be it. Could also be that one, couldn't it? Don't know. But that's the job of the indicator. It's not to get you in and if you're like, this is what happens to people, isn't it? You know, it's happened to everybody. You get in, it goes wrong, you go, oh, this is crap, doesn't work. You don't take the second one, which collapses, which makes you cross. It's all about emotions, the whole thing, isn't it? Hit quite hard at 200%, but also had a couple of positions running from yesterday. Cool. Probably left loads on the table with pound yen, but still got 3 weeks left to finish. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you leave on the table. As long as you identify you've left it on the table, that's fine. Leaving profit. If I get out here with 0.3, what I've done is got rid of that bad trade, which is fine. If it collapses down to here today and I get out here, have I done a good job or a bad job? Done a good job, haven't I? My trade's worked. If it gets to here, bounces and takes me out at break even and then collapses down to there, I've done a good job. I've managed my risk and I've gone for the home run. What actually I will do is take it off probably here rather than let it run to there. But what I'm going to do is wait and see what happens at that level. If we get to there, pull back a little bit and then slam through that with a whacking great bearish engulfing, I'm pretty sure we're going to hit my target. If we get to there, we bounce and put in a W, I will escape the trade there. These are decisions that an EA cannot make, which is why I keep saying use the EA as a tool. Don't expect it to trade for you. It's not a trader. And don't forget, we're in an uptrend. Yeah. What does an uptrend do? Pull back to the moving averages. Where are we now? This is the 2050. This is where, if we're going to continue this trend today, this is where I would expect pullback to start moving from. So when we get down into this area, that's where you're likely going to see some buyers, because everybody that is not mean reverting and is trend trading is looking for an opportunity to get in on the trend. So you're going to see a load of buy orders coming in anywhere around here. You're going to get a load of buys potentially, unless the banks are literally just doing manipulation move and screwing everybody, in which case then no one's going to stand in the way and it's just going to come down like a rock. But again, we don't know. You knew that. Millionaires. Nice, already 1.76 today. Just take the rest of the day off. Do it. If you've banked it, do it. Don't overtrade. Overtrading just gives it back. Super lucky with the pushes. Exactly. Anybody that doesn't say there's luck involved in trading is obviously just not lucky. If this thing goes now like that in 3 candles, am I a good trader or am I lucky? It's obviously the latter, isn't it? If it does this for the rest of the day and I close it there, am I a lucky trader or a good trader? I'm just an unlucky trader. Yeah, lucky trader, unlucky trader. I've got no control over that. What will happen will happen. Can't do anything about it. Really unlucky trader, and forget to get in on the second entry. That's a stupid trader, isn't it? Not a lucky or an unlucky one. That's a stupid trade. Everybody's stupid sometimes, though. Just checking what else we've got moving at the minute. US dollar CAD still going. US dollar Swiss. So US dollar's weak this morning. Weakish, not massively weak. Weakish. apart from that, not a lot else really going on apart from the yens and the pounds. So me too. Time to turn off the charts and rest up. Look for new positions tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. You've hit your target. You've done your job for the day. Don't overtrade. Overtrading leads to pain. Just take the setups. They either work or they don't. If they don't work, manage them. If they do work, take them and be done. Right, I'll update you on what happens with these. I was going to trade some DAX, but I think I'll now I've got that yen reverse. Yen mean reversion. I should have done. When we broke that low there, I was looking at the chart. I was on the verge of saying I might get in short here because I think this thing's going to come down and fill this gap, and it did. What it is. So I would have had that trade there. Never mind. Got distracted by the pound yen. Right, I'll leave it there, guys. I'm back tomorrow morning at 7:50, same time. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. I'll be in there all day. If you want to go and get the spreadsheet that I've been talking about this morning, that's on the website, just under the risk reward calculator under indicators. It's not an indicator, but I didn't know where else to put it. So you can download that. There's a video on how it works, what it does. You need Excel. You can't do it on Google Sheets or on Excel online. You need Microsoft Excel on your PC. If you haven't got that, it doesn't work. Sorry. I'm an Excel man. So, but yeah, anything else you need, come in the Telegram group. I'll be in there all day. I'll update on anything that I take, but I'm pretty much in everything I want to be in at the minute. So I'll update on anything that closes out and banks. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. Be prepared for this afternoon. US dollar, PMI, 3 o'clock. We're going to get some US dollar movement. If US dollar's weak this morning, chances are we might get some strength for the PMI figures this afternoon. And then tomorrow morning, we've got Aussie GDP, unlikely to move the market. Be aware of it though. And then we've got pound monetary policy hearing tomorrow ahead of the CAD tomorrow afternoon, the rates. So again, busy day tomorrow, busy day Thursday, Friday, bit of a rest, and I think the market will probably need it. So just be aware of the news. So just obviously check this every day, most important thing. Okay, have a good one. I will be in the Telegram group and see you in the morning.